Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hey, Stephanie and Ingrid. How are you all doing? I've very much, oh, I gotta choose there we go. I've very much enjoyed pictures that I've gotten from Stephanie and Ingrid as their adventure starts. Hello, Del Marie from Northern California. And Melissa, hey, how are you doing? Today is going to be a quick one. I know that it is I always feel weird saying it's a holiday, it's a federal holiday weekend, but it's a weekend. I do hope everybody is having a happy one. I want folks to be remembering their loved ones and folks from the service in very good ways. So more like an Irish wake than something totally sad. Uh, Oh, I wish I was there too. Stephanie and Ingrid had started their adventure, a quilt cruise adventure, and I am super jealous. I want to be there hanging with the girls, going on a cruise, sipping some Mai Tais. Hi, Jackie. But yeah, so this morning is going to be a quick one. I'm going to work on our New York Beauty Block 12, which is Kingfisher, which uh, sort of got rerouted, and we ended up recapping Frill Neck, which had subunits, which ended up being really good because Kingfisher has multiple subunits. There's like a lot of moving pieces in all of this. So I've kind of started the process with two of the subunits, well, three of the subunits into one larger subunit uh, to so that we weren't too far behind. And these curved stripes may be giving you headaches on the camera, but I love the visual impact it has. So I'm excited about this guy. So um, welcome everyone. Hi, Ingrid. Did I already say hi? I can't remember. Uh, and I'm going to go ahead and get this guy finished up because I want to show how to add all of these subunits because it messes with your mind. And this little arc will go here at the end. So I'm just going to continue. So I've started on the subunit, this Kingfisher subunits. You're going to make 4 of these triangles. 2 you're going to trim on the right side, 2 you're going to trim on the left side. Now, eventually you're going to end up trimming the whole thing because, you know, once you add on stuff, but you want to make sure that you have enough to add on the next piece. So onto this guy. So that's why it's saying, so if you're adding it on here, you'll trim the left side, trim the right side. So that's why they're saying trim 2 on one side and 2 on the other, because you're making 4 of these. So what I would recommend to help with confusion is don't trim either of the sides until you start putting them onto this larger subunit, and then you can figure out where you want to go. Because honestly, you don't have to trim it until you add it, and then you can, you know, trim the extra within the seam allowance. Then you don't even have to worry about it. So to save yourself, don't even worry about trimming it until you're adding it to the actual subunit. Let's see. Hey, Shirley and Terry, how are you all doing this morning? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding. I'm using these really cool purples for these little subunits and this bright orange for the center. I'm going to add this next piece. Here, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way so it's not quite as confusing. And a lot of stuff hanging out there. Mm-mm-mm. And has everybody been getting as much rain as we've been getting here? It's been very, very soggy. My poor cherry tree out front, all of the cherries are dead. They were waterlogged and never had a chance. And we've had many, and we're supposed to have another thunderstorm today. Hi, Laura. Laura's, you're getting back into the groove. Oh, I hope vacation was fun. I am excited to hear about your vacation. I'm excited to hear about Stephanie and Ingrid's. I'm really going to be taking a vacation. Might go do like short, like 3-day things with the kids over the summer, but nothing huge planned. Tons of rain in Missouri. Rainy in Indy too. Oh yeah, bad news for the Indy 500. How are you doing, Sue? My text messages are blowing up. We have an annual so I, from my own self, have two 20 somethings, and then adopted, not officially, but emotionally and spiritually adopted my son's best friend, who came to live with us right before COVID, and lived with us all the way through COVID, and actually only just recently moved out. So I have, as far as I'm concerned, I have 3 babies. Hi, Flicky Chicky. And every summer we have what's called crab moves. And I don't know if you remember me talking about it last year, but it's coming up on time to have it again this year. And we're trying to figure out what works for everybody, because as they get older, trying to schedule time gets harder and harder. So they're all blowing up text message talking about what works best for everybody and trying to figure out when we can do it. And crab moves consists of going to get Maryland blue crabs, and then we'll get steamed shrimp, and we'll do a shrimp boil with potatoes and kielbasa. Honestly, that's usually all we end up eating. Sometimes folks will bring other things. One year, I think we had our friend Elby brought pupusas, which were phenomenal. But for the most part, we just eat the crabs and the shrimp and the potatoes and hang out. We've had to a couple of times due to rain move it inside the house, but we generally try to be outside, just because one, crabs, the smell of Old Bay seasoning is very strong and it lasts in the house forever. It's nice to be sitting outside. It's become quite the tradition, and this is the 7th year. 7th? 6th or 7th? Was last year 6th? Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look at the t-shirts now. I can't remember. Maybe 6th. Maybe 6th year. You're allergic to shellfish? I have a few friends that are allergic to shellfish. Having been in the culinary world, I, made many switch and alternative for folks that were allergic, had dietary restrictions and things like that. But coming from the culinary world, it would be so sad to be allergic to something. There's one of the subunits, and I went ahead, of course, because I was talking and not thinking, and I ended up trimming both sides, and it's not going to matter. Just for you out there, don't trim either of the sides. I just get into the habit, like muscle memory takes over, and I just start doing it. Melissa says, "What's a vacation?" Right? Uh-oh, cat's leaning on the camera. Hi, Tamla. Oh, you do remember Flash? Yeah. Oh, we were just talking about when I was in high school, we used to go crabbing. Jackie is just saying she misses fresh crab. We used to go crabbing like in the summer every well, it wouldn't be weekends. It would just depend on when we all kind of our friend group all worked at the same restaurant, and it would be whenever we were getting off and we'd all work together. Come on, move. You keep moving the camera, move your booty. Whenever we were working together, we'd all get off at like, closing a restaurant at like 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd drive down to Solomon's Island. Well, first, we'd make sure we had a cooler full of chicken little drummies and string and nets. And then we would hop in the car and we'd drive to Solomon's Island, and we would just go find a pier, tie the chicken drummies. Some folks have said that they used to take chicken necks. Totally valid. We just did drummies. Throw it, tie it at the end of the rope or the string, throw it out into the water, and then scoop it up with the net. Scoop all the crabs up with the net. It was so much fun, and I miss doing that. And we did that for probably 3 years in a row, and then we went back down, and they had switched all the rules. Like you had to have a license, and then you had to pay if you wanted to be on the dock, and then the dock started changing its hours and took all the fun out of it. It was not fun anymore. But we would, for those 3 years, it was pretty fun. We would all head back to my mom's house, have all the crabs on ice, and we would get a lot. Like we would have enough to have a party. Have them on ice, come to my mom's house, put them in the fridge. We'd all take a nap because we've been up all night long, and then we would steam them at my mom's house, sit out back, which is kind of where the idea of crab moves came from for everybody, for us here. Only we bougie now, and I just go buy them. All right. Moving right along on Kingfisher. Oops. Let's see. Pop-ups blocking chat. Looky Chickies vacation is dog shows. I don't think that counts if you have to work during it. Oh, Melanie Taylor says they have blue crabs in Biloxi. We're fun, really good. There's yeah, soft shell crabs are incredible. One of my favorite things. Okay, cat. I was that whole working in the culinary world. I was devastated to find out that during the winter months here in Maryland, the blue crabs that you will get from restaurants are not, you know, frozen leftovers from the season in Maryland, but they are from Louisiana waters. I was like, oh, they're not Maryland blue crabs then, but they're still blue crabs and they're still good, and nobody can actually tell the difference, so it doesn't matter. But as a Marylander, it hurt my heart a little bit to realize that. Though I don't, who knows why. I knew the season could be getting live crabs out of the Chesapeake Bay after like September. Oh, never fails. These girls start fighting as soon as I'm live. Lilu, Sadie, go lay down. Go lay down. Go on. Go lay down. Go on, Sadie. Go lay down. Run around with like a chicken with my head cut off all morning, making sure everybody's got what they need. Food and toys, and been outside and all that kind of stuff. Water's full. And the second the camera goes on, they start playing. Oh, them just fighting words in Maryland, though. Laura says, my favorite is a good crab cake. Yes. Oh, Old Ebbitt's Grill. Oh my gosh. Yes. Old Ebbitt's Grill. Wow. I do like most places around here really know how to make a crab cake sandwich. Not a lot of breading, more lump crab meat, not too much binder. But I I one point, my dad is from Tennessee. At one point went and had a Maryland crab cake sandwich out there. Just because you put Old Bay on something doesn't make it a Maryland crab cake sandwich. I was like, I think I'll stick to the Tennessee barbecue. Yes, shenanigans when I am distracted and I can't do anything about it is their favorite. Oh, po' boys. Love po' boys. We used to have a restaurant here called Copeland's, and for many years while it was open, that was my birthday restaurant of choice. It was a Creole Cajun, and they have the best po' boys. All right, this one I'm going to try to remember not to trim the sides so I can show you. Close the magic juice. Don't do that. I'll trim the bottom. There we go. Do the top up here. There we go. All right. So that's done and untrimmed. So we can, I'll show you how to line it up on the subunit. The larger subunit. These are the smaller subunits. This is the larger subunit. This is my bottom triangle blue. This is the larger inner triangle orange and black. Let's see. So we're going to go on this side first. There we go. Make sure I've got enough space on all sides. Yep. All right. So this is the part that messes with my head. So I want to try to go over it slowly so you guys out there trying to do this can see it too. So we are there we go. Okay. We are putting right sides together. The triangle that we're trying to fill with this little triangle sliver is here. I don't know if you guys can kind of see it. It's right here. And then it's just a guessing game of lining these up correctly so that this sew line here meets this sew line here. Now, normally with FPP, you're doing right sides together and you see fabric on this side and you're just lining it up and sewing it on. This time you have to be far more precise because you need to sew at a 1/4 inch on this line to match sewing on a 1/4 inch. What will actually be a 1/4 inch on this side. This sew line too. So the easiest way to do that is to either pin this piece down so it doesn't move, pin or glue. I'm just going to go ahead and do a dab of glue. Because I'm going to use pins to help me line everything up. I just want to make sure that this guy is safely placed and I don't have another pin to worry about as I'm sewing it. So I've just glued this one on and in place there. And then I'm going to take the pins. Oops, I'm going to do this again because I need to make sure that I'm remembering. Because we want, you got to remember which way the triangle, the flat end of the triangle goes to match the flat end of the triangle here. So I am going to be pinning it to the paper like this, which, you know, I don't know, feels upside down for some reason, but we're going to do one pin in this point. Now, when I did this, when I tested this out, I redid it a couple times because I got flip-flopped around. So just don't sew it on until you're sure. That definitely helped. I didn't have to rip anything out. I just had to like rearrange it in my head. All right, and so then I'm bringing this to have right sides together, fabric to fabric. And then I'm going to pin it through the points here. But I had to bring it up to my face because my old eyes. There we go. And then again on this end. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. Now, pinning it like this is where it doesn't matter if you've trimmed the paper. You can see there's a little bit extra of, or trim the fabric. There's a little bit extra fabric from the orange square there. That's all right. I think I went a little heavy on my section here. A little too far outside of the there we go. Yeah, there it goes. There it lays straight. So now we're going to be sewing, and I'm going to sew with the sub unit up because I want to make sure I'm catching and leaving this point. So I want to make sure I'm right on this spot right there, rather than trying to do it this way and guess that that is correct. I want to know that it's right there. I'm going to bring another pin in because I can't sew with these pins standing up, and if they shift, they're going to shift the paper, and that means I'm not going to necessarily be doing it on the right line. So I'm going to come in from an angle so that I'm not shifting the paper on the sew line, and make sure I'm coming out on the sew line on this side. And then I'm going to go back in on the sew line and come out on the sew line. And now I'm holding this in place, and I can take these like basting pins basically out of the way, and now I can sew it on. I hope that made sense in some way. Come back if you're doing this, and then pause it and rewatch it as over and over and over again. Oh, they're talking about the schools. Fun. Hi, Carrie. Carrie's a newcomer. Oh, Carrie, are you a newcomer to paper piecing? Is the paper piecing is okay for me? Hey, Robert. Not Little Hooter today. We're working on Kingfisher from New York Beauty. So I just got the subunit on, and I'm going to go ahead and sew it down. I'm going to go slow over the points to make sure that I've got that as perfectly as I can. And then we're going to see how well I did. So because I sewed it with this side up, I'm, on the line there. And then because we pinned it, we're really well on the line there too. So I know that when I flip this back for the subunit, I will go ahead and take this paper out. I will flip it and iron it, make sure it lines up okay. And then I will go ahead and take these papers out too, because now this is just one full piece of fabric now. It's just acting as another piece of fabric. So I don't need the paper in the way anymore. But I'll take this bit out because those sew lines matched. I feel good. And I'm just gonna double check when I iron it back to make sure I feel good. And so here is why, oh, my eyeball just caught. Here's why they say only trim like the one side, because you want to make sure you have enough in the seam. And I do have enough in the seam allowance, but if I had not trimmed that side, I would have had much more and I would have felt much more comfortable adding it. I am well within the seam allowance, maybe like it may be an 1/8 of an inch short, but I haven't ironed it yet either, so I could be totally fine. But what I'm happy about is that I kept that point right there. So let's get it ironed and I'll show you. I'm feeling pretty good about how it looks before I ironed it back. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the papers while I have it flipped this way. It's facing up and it's easy for me to get to now. Here we go. All right. So I always cut my papers larger than what the seam allowance is. So I actually, this is the where that seam allowance is going to be for adding this subunit to the main unit. So I'm definitely good. But that's why they say only trim the one side so that you have extra over here. But I'm happy with that. So now we're going to add the next side. But I missed some comments. Robert, got you on the working on the Kingfisher. Hi, Candace. Oh, Carrie, you're new in sewing. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I hope you're having fun as you're doing it. If definitely work on things that you have fun. If you need to put it away, put it to the side and try something new, no worries. Go ahead and do that. Oh, Flicky Chicky says she's still trying to figure out FPP. It's backwards to me. It is backwards. It's backwards. It's upside down. It's in reverse. It's topsy-turvy. And it takes a little while for it to click in your brain. So I will talk to myself, and because you guys are here with me, you'll hear me talking to myself about making sure I'm doing it in the right way. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Colleen. Oh, talking about food. Now I'm hungry. You're talking about the having Maryland blue crabs, having a crab boil. Super hungry now. All right, so now we can fold this over. And I can trim this to be closer to the 1/4 inch. And then putting this subunit on, I did not trim these sides. So we'll see. We want to have, okay, so we want to have the triangle end up this way. So the triangle is going this way. I'm going to pin the right sides together this way. So this side I can go ahead and trim so that all of this extra isn't in the way, but you don't have to. It makes my eyes hurt, so I'm going to now that I know what side gets trimmed, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Just, you know, to ease your mind. So if you need to unstitch, if you need to rip it out, you have extra fabric. You don't have to worry about it. You haven't already cut it. But I'm going to go ahead and trim this side because, again, it makes my eyes itch having all that fabric flopping around. All right, so back to where the triangle is facing down, because that's where it's going to be. I'll put my pins in. Move the fabric too much. There we go. Ooh, Robert's getting his food ready to eat. Hi, Tracy. A little confused with, animals are moving the thing again. With why I did it that way. Which part? I know that there's such a lag, so I'm not sure which part I was at when you put in the comment that you were confused. So let me know. Stuck myself with a pin, which is why I dislike pins. All right, and again, right sides together. People talking about spots I've never been to. I need to travel more. There we go. All right, lined up nicely. Now we're gonna again come in at the angle so that the paper doesn't misalign. Oh, I love crawdads or crawfish, depending on where you're at. Oh, adding the completed piece in subunits. So the reason we're doing it in subunits, awesome question, Tracy. Thank you very much for asking that. Is one, because that's the way the pattern is written. She's got the jokes. But because of all of the number of pieces that you're trying to get on, I can't do that in this larger subunit because I could if I wanted to do Y seams. I can't if I don't want Y seams because I would go. So if I add this, I would do 1, I would add 2, I would add 3, I would add 4, but then trying to add this 5th piece, I could add it here, but then when I flipped it over, I would have to re-sew again. I'd have to sew that extra side down here, which is, you absolutely can, but it's confusing. And then you would have to do it again on this side. You'd have to sew 1, 2, 3, and then this piece down here, flip it over, and then finish sewing it on this side. That's a lot to do. So what the creator did was create these subunits where all of that work is already done in traditional FPP style, where there's no Y seaming, there's no having to seam at or sew at angles or curves or anything like that. So they created, this is now a single piece of fabric by doing it that way. This is the piece of fabric. So you're only sewing one seam to get those 4 pieces of fabric in the right place. So that's why. I don't know that I explained that all that well. So let me know. Let me know if that didn't make any sense whatsoever. Hi, Carrie. Oh, Del Marie. Yeah, I when I started my journey, these YouTube channels where I could go back and pause and slow down helped me a lot. Tracy, let me know if that makes any sense at all. But essentially, we're adding these subunits to this subunit to make this whole subunit one piece of fabric to then add to the larger unit as one piece of fabric already done, which feels like a lot, but if you go slowly and you're only focusing on one thing at a time, it's amazing how quickly it comes together. You just have to not look at the big picture. This is one of the times where you don't want to look at the big picture. You just want to focus on what's in front of you. Oh, great. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Good, good. Very excited that that made sense. All right, so now I'm going to come in again at an angle, so I'm shifting the paper as little as possible without stabbing myself. That's what I'm always concerned with. And making sure I'm going in the sew line there. Ladies, go lay down. Go lay down. And then I want to come back in on the sew line. And oh, buggers. Come back in on the sew line. And out this way on the sew line. All right. So we're in on the sew line and back out on the sew line. So I can take these bad boys out, get them out of the way, so I have less chance of stabbing myself with just the one pin now. And the ones on this on the ends aren't bumping up against the machine and then tilting the papers out of whack, and then the sew lines won't match up. We want to be happy with where we're at. All right, I feel a little bit off on the back though, so I'm concerned about that. Let's see. Nope, that's further away than I wanted to go. The opposite direction. So this is better. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Now again, I'm going to sew with this littler subunit up so that I can make sure that I'm hitting the point. My foot pedal has run away. Going down as I get to the point. All right. So on the side that was face up, I'm confident that we're on the sew line there. Let's flip her over on the sew line there. Went straight a little bit on the end down here, but not so much that that's going to cause any problems. That's not even 1/8 of an inch. I don't even know what that is. Minuscule amount. So a little bit off there, but not in a way that's going to concern me. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and make sure that I have caught, and I definitely have still preserved my point there. It's hard to see with the dark fabric, so I apologize for that, but I still have that there. And then see on this side where I didn't trim, I've definitely got extra fabric off the seam allowance. So we're kosher there. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the papers out and just go ahead and sew this back. Press this back. Sadie, what are you doing? Sadie, what are you doing? Come on. I think she's trying to eat cat food. Oh, before I forget, it is 11:45, and we're gonna, as soon as I'm done with getting this unit onto the bigger one, we're gonna be all done for the holiday weekend. I wanted to, and Stephanie, if you're still here, give a shout so I know that you're here, because Stephanie and I were gonna talk a little bit about an upcoming project we're working on. Now that Carnival's over, this New York Beauty is coming quickly to an end. We have 4 more blocks to do in the New York Beauty, which is crazy. All right. Sadie, do you need to go outside? Okay. So I may have to stand up for a second and let the dogs outside, even though I let them outside before I started the live. So I will be right back. We're going to wait to see. Oh, Tracy has the book on her Amazon wish list. Oh, Tracy, definitely do it. All of these videos are recorded here on my channel, and there's a playlist of all the New York Beauties, and then on Stephanie's channel as well. Because we switched 2 blocks on my channel, 2 blocks on Stephanie's. I'm going to keep talking to you guys, but I'm going to be out of frame for a second because these girls are kooky. And there's no one in the house right now to help me get them outside. So Tracy, yes, definitely get the book. I mean, go ahead and get started. If these ones with the subunits freak you out, so what we're doing for New York Beauty is just 16 blocks. If this makes your head hurt, just choose another beautiful block. You are not going to go wrong with choosing any of the amazing blocks that are in the book. You don't have to go and do any of the ones that have subunits on them, or if there are ones that we did and you just don't like the way they look, don't use that one. There are like 54 blocks, 50 something blocks in the book. There are a few that are bigger. They wouldn't fit this, but there are plenty to choose from that will go beautifully in the 16 block wall hanging that we were going for. Jackie asks if I'm doing the Wild West. If anybody doesn't know, Wild West is the next Cotton Cuts puzzle mystery, and I am not doing the Wild West. Something had to go. I had to sacrifice some things. I am starting to write a lot more of my own patterns. I'm teaching at retreats with Stephanie. I'm going to start having my own retreats. Also be on the lookout after June 1st for an announcement about pre-registering for a virtual retreat. It's going to be bring your own FPP. So you could bring New York Beauty. You could bring a legit kit. You could bring a Judy Niemeyer. You could bring Quiet Play. Any FPP. You could bring one of my own patterns if you wanted to. You can bring anything. And that's going to happen. The retreat will be in July, but I'll make the announcement and you can start registering in June. So that is coming up. Oh, Tracy, thank you. This is by Exhausted Octopus. It's called Deco Tiles. I know it's Christmas. It's Christmassy, and it is hot and not Christmas, but I love it so much. And I need to get it prepped for going into the county fair this year. So there's that. All right. So, oh, now the girls are back. I'm gonna let them back in. You know, I think Stephanie and Ingrid probably have headed out the door for their trip. So I'm gonna let these girls back in. Ladies. All right, now everybody go lay down. Keep your heads. Girls. Go lay down. So, yes, I think they are probably heading out the door to get to the boat, but I will go ahead and announce what we were going to announce. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Starting June 8th, right? Let's check the calendar so I don't give the wrong dates. Yes, starting June 8th. So it'll be the most likely the second Saturday and second Sunday of each month. On Saturday evenings, live at 5 on Stephanie Stitches, and then the next morning, Sunday Brunch on my channel. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. Stephanie and I are going to start the Tamta Alice in Wonderland FPP project. We had put it on hold. We were going to do it with our friend Russ. Things got really busy, and we ended up having to put it on hold and put it on hold and put it on hold. And we just feel so bad because a lot of folks went out and got the patterns. That's a big investment. And it's time we got to doing it. It's time we moved our booties and got to doing it. So starting on the 8th, on Stephanie Stitches channel, we're going to start with block 1 of the FPP Alice in Wonderland. Art East also did an Alice in Wonderland, but that's traditional piecing in a million tiny little teeny pieces. But traditional piecing, the one we're doing is Tomte, Tomte, her Alice in Wonderland we're going to do. And that is FPP. And again, will be on a Saturday on Stephanie's channel. They're live at 5. And on the next Sunday morning, my brunch at 11 a.m. And these are all Eastern times. So we're gonna get to work on that finally. I appreciate everybody who has waited patiently, who had wanted to be a part of that before. It just, like I was saying, some things have to give. Like it took a while for it to work out in our schedules, with the cut and cuts, with the New York Beauty, just the retreats. It became crazy trying to figure out when things were going to happen. But we're going to go ahead and do that starting in June. And I'm super excited about it because 1, I love Alice in Wonderland. 2, I love FPP. 3, I love me some Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches. And I'm excited to get to continue doing another project together and be on each other's channels to do that, is to support each other. So that's the plan. Let's see. Hi, Designing Jay, Joanna. Good morning. I'm late joining. You are good to go. Have a lot to catch up on the New York Beauty blocks. Haven't so much lately. I know, man. Sometimes the sojo just goes. It is a mystery to me where it goes sometimes, but there is no rush. You are good to go. We still have 4 blocks before we're at the end, and there is no no hard and fast deadline that we are holding you all to. And again, if these subunit ones just hurt your head, choose a fun one. Can I show the Alice in Wonderland? Huh. Let me pull. Oh, you know what I could also do is put it in the chat. Let's look. Alice. All right, here we go. Let me do this. I'm going to put her. I'm going to put her website in the chat. Oh, let's see. Let's see how I can do this. Here. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Let me grab it. So this is the one we're doing. Again, all FPP. I don't know if you remember last summer I did an FPP pattern of hers, the elephant. But yeah, so that's the link to the actual whole pattern. You can buy them separately, like the little individual pieces, if you want to. So that's what we're going to start in June. Let's see. Kelly, hello. This is my first visit on your channel. Oh my gosh. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for being here. I kind of do a lot of FPP. Yeah. We're currently doing the New York Beauty all together. There are 16 blocks that we're doing for a wall hanging. The one behind me is FPP. But we also do some cotton cuts together as a community. I'm making a bag in an upcoming retreat. So I try to mix it up, spice it up, because I don't want to get bored. But I do a lot of FPP. It's my favorite. Yes, and the Alice in Wonderland is adorable. I cannot wait. And that's going to start in June. And we will put up the thumbnails for it and everything. Probably once they're back from the quilt cruise that Stephanie's back from. Oh, Kelly, yes. So the upcoming one is actually a virtual retreat. And in that virtual retreat, I'm making a beach bag. It has a little bit of FPP, but you can ignore the FPP if that makes you feel better. It's a simple FPP pattern to do. But yes, I will put right now it is an all-day virtual retreat. There'll be 2 patterns that you're going to get. You're going to get the bag pattern from me, and I will be there, and we will work on it all together. And then there's a beach quilt pattern that Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches will be doing. So you're getting 2 patterns and 2 instructors for the whole day, 10 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, which is a lot of fun. And then those patterns will be available after the retreat for those that weren't able to come. So together we sew retreats. And so that is June 23rd, which is a Sunday. So starting just a little bit earlier than what my normal brunch would be, but then we get to be together all day. You'll get a Zoom link. We do ask, especially when we're working on the pieces, you don't have to have your camera on the entire time, but when you have a question and you need some help, I definitely need you to have a camera at that time. So you want to be able to turn your camera on and show me like what part you're confused about or what part you're having a hard time with or what part my pattern just doesn't make any sense the way it's written. I'm a visual person, like learner that way. So like having the video and everything is, so writing it out, actually writing it is harder for me. So sometimes I feel like maybe my patterns don't make the best sense. So if you're having a hard time understanding the pattern, or if you're just a visual learner like I am, you definitely need the camera on so that I can answer your questions. Plus, we just like to see your happy, smiley faces. Oh, thanks, Joanna. Oh, thanks, Kelly. And oh, nice, thank you. That makes me feel good. Tracy, so this is a completely, well, I'm on my YouTube channel. I'm allowed to plug myself. I have a couple of free patterns on my website that are simplified traditional blocks done in FPP to um like help kind of make it make sense. So I'm going to put my website up to if you wanted to take a look at those. There's a whirlwind block and a tumbling. Two free patterns where I took very traditional, simple patterns that you could definitely do traditionally pieced, but did them in FPP and gave a couple of ideas on different layouts you could do and color choices. So Tracy, if you wanted to maybe look at those to help out a little bit, that has become kind of a fun adventure for me, looking at traditional blocks and making them FPP because I love FPP so much. Kelly, no, there's not a picture yet because we didn't want to spoil the surprise. The signups are through June 1st, so you can sign up for the retreat until June 1st. The bag, it's a big bag. How it's written is with canvas and it's a mesh bottom so that sand and all the gunk can fall through. And good size handles. It's about 20 inches tall and 14, 16, no, I can't remember, 16 across, with long handles. The canvas is because, you're going to the beach, so a little sturdier. The mesh is to keep all the stuff out of it. So it's a meshed bottom. Again, you don't have to use the mesh if you don't want to. You could just make it a completely canvas bag. Totally up to you. There's a lot of leeway. I love to see what people do with their own like artistic license on any of the patterns. So everything that I write is like a suggestion. Like with a recipe, you may look at a recipe and you're like, oh, I don't like celery, I like peas. So you put peas in it instead of celery. I'm 100% down for that. I love to see what people change and do for themselves. So never feel like you're tied into exactly what I'm saying. But there's not a picture yet because one, we want to make it so it's just for the retreaters, but we will be sending out fabric requirements, cutting instructions before the retreat itself, which is, again, is June 23rd. And then the pattern will go to you the night before. But what's really cute is that the pattern that's on the bag is similar to the pattern that's on the quilt. So it's kind of matchy, which is really adorable. We don't do that very often. But for this, we wanted to make it a sister set. So it was important to me that I mimicked what Stephanie had going on in her beach quilt. I still called it beach blanket because it just, alliteration. But beach quilt. All right, let's get this full subunit onto the larger piece. Yes, so I have, I kind of wish I could show you. I do have the prototype done, but I don't, spoilers, don't want to like show off anything. I'm very excited about it because with the mesh bottom, and I even did the pockets on the front of the bag. So there's two big pockets in the outsides of the bag. And you could add a key fob, you could add inside slip pockets. I want y'all to go crazy once you have like, the basics down. But even the front pockets have mesh so that nothing gets stuck in there. Yes, that was my biggest thing. The bag is big enough to put the blanket beach quilt in. Yes. I wanted to make sure that you could do that. Because again, they're sister projects. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me a little bit longer. I started talking about all this fun stuff coming up, and now I've not finished the piece. So I appreciate you all being here. And I'll get this larger piece added, and we are just about done with Kingfisher. Now, I wrote the pattern for the bag with canvas and mesh. You don't have to do it. So because I wrote it with canvas, though, there's no stabilizer. So if you were going to do it with regular quilting cotton, you would definitely want some stabilizer in it. For a beach bag, for a pool bag, the canvas is just so the way to go. So much easier to clean off. Yeah, durable. So I'm just recommending doing it that way. Yeah. Oh, Kelly. Yeah. See. Yeah. So absolutely, like it's going to be written just in the way, that you have to pick a way to write it, right? So it's written to use the canvas and to use the mesh and to do it that way. But it is absolutely a great bag to just use cotton. Use stabilizer for the bottom. I would definitely use the thicker to give it some heft down at the bottom, and just what is it called? The Pellon, the not quite the heftiest one, but the one that's got good body to it. Not like t-shirt stabilizer or interfacing, but like a good stabilizer. Yeah, that would totally work. You don't have to do the FPP portion of it for the pocket. That the FPP is going to be on the pockets facing out on both sides. You don't have to do that part if you don't want to. This is your bag, and I want to see all the crazy fun things you guys do with it. So in the instructions where it says, attached to the mesh, just ignore that part. Feel free to ignore it. I love pockets. I love adding pockets everywhere I can add them. Add as many pockets as you want. I love a good key fob. I did not do, just because like a summery bag, like a beach bag, a pool bag, to me, zippers and sand just don't get along. Zippers and water just don't get along, even if they're nylon. To me, I wasn't interested in adding any zippers to it. But you could, totally could. You could use clear vinyl if you wanted to. That would be fun. But again, I always have these tangents. You've got to pick away. if I'm ever going to have the pattern written, I've got to pick away. But I could definitely see writing some, variations and suggesting those variations. We got the other subunit added, kept my points. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the paper out. I'm pretty excited about this bag. It's a fun bag. If you've never done FPP before, I would love you to try it, at least attempt it. This is, again, a traditional block that is done in FPP. So if you decide you want to have it match each quilt, but you don't want to do it in FPP, you could do it traditionally. Not there over your shoulder telling you, oh, you can't do that. I want you to love your project, which means giving you the freedom to do it the way you want to. But, I would love for you to try it out. Oh, Del Marie, thank you. I'm so excited that you signed up. Oh, thanks, Robert. Oh, yes, I love Buy Any bags. So that's I think you can make just about any quilt into a wall hanging if you just take out some of the blocks. So I'm going to say yes, because you don't have to do as many blocks as the pattern calls for. You may have to like do some thinking if there's sashing involved, things like that. You might have to noodle out how much less you would need, that kind of thing. Or if you might end up with like half a block, what your thought is on that. But yeah, with the layout and the kind of block that this is, you could easily make it smaller or bigger very easily. Getting close, getting close. Ooh, Kelly, that sounds fun. Oh, please don't feel bad about asking questions. I love questions. As I hope you can tell, I get very excited about it all. Very geeked out by the whole thing. So I love when other people are passionate and excited about the same thing. It's so fun. So please ask questions. It's very, very interesting to me after all of these years to hear my father coming out of me. My father was a elementary school teacher and principal and very much loved teaching. And I didn't think it would be anything that I would be interested in. And then I started doing this, and I just love sharing and spreading the joy. So for the bag, if it is your first time doing an FPP project, I would suggest probably what would be easier is to do solids or batiks. And Stephanie's quilt would look phenomenal with either of those as well. So if you want to keep it all the same fabric, but make the FPP portion of it a little bit easier, doing it in one of those two fabrics would be just fine. Oh, thanks. I'm excited about this block. I know the stripey is so hypnotic, but I think it adds it totally adds movement, as they say. It's because of the way the lines go. Oh, it's very exciting. So all of the subunits are scary. It is definitely, it's new to me to do it this way, creating fabric from subunits to add into a larger piece. But I think the end product, this is incredible. So I think it's really, really worth it. I haven't trimmed it all down, so it looks, not so clean, but that's that part. And then this will go here. And I have this dark blue here to match this dark blue here. And then this darker midnight blue, really almost black, but midnight blue up there. So that is what that's going to look like. All of my New York Beauty blocks have the green inside arc and the black, so in grunge, and the black outside angle for the right angle, also in grunge. So that will complete the Kingfisher. Oh, thank you all so much for being here today. I'm so excited to get Kingfisher done. I'm excited that we were able to do it together and that you will be able to come back and look at it, because 2 different subunits into one final piece is a lot. That's a lot to do. And I think doing it slow, not sewing anything down until you've pinned those subunits into the spot that you know that they should go, and you've they call it auditioning. You've auditioned it. I think will help out for sure to minimize any having to to rip out, unstitch, any of that kind of stuff. So it's a fun challenge, but I don't think it's anything that you won't be able to do if you just remember to look at it one little piece at a time. You don't have to think about what it's going to end up to be. Hey, thank you, everybody. All right, so I want to again thank you all so much for being here today. It's a shorter brunch because I hope you all are able to spend time with family and loved ones. Remember any folks in your family and community who have served this weekend. That's what it's all about this weekend. But it doesn't have to be solemn. It could be a celebration of remembering those who made the ultimate sacrifice. So I hope you all have good time spending with family and remembering all of that. And I will see you again later this week. No New York Beauty this Tuesday. And then Sunday we'll have to see what I'm going to do on Sunday. I'm not sure. I've been watching a lot of Portuguese artists making bags. So I might do a bag on next Sunday, a small bag. just to do something different, throw something new into the mix again. So everybody, thank you so much. Talk to you all soon. Be safe. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye now.